This is Texans TV.
We catch up with the best fans in the world.
It is so good to see some fans in the building today.
And how much do you know about this week's Deep Slant interview? Texans 360 starts now.
We are ready to rock in Houston. Rock and roll, touchdown, Texans.
Guess when you think you've seen it all, there's always something else.
Welcome into Texans 360. I'm your host, Deepi Sidhu. The Texans have one more game before they head into the bye. They want to do so with a win, but we got plenty of Texans 360 for you this week, the bye week, the rest of the season, and beyond. And tonight's show should be a fun one. I sit down with the Houston Texans player like I do every single week. I'm not going to tell you who just yet because we get to know him a little bit better. Also, the best fans in the world, of course, are the Houston Texans fans, so we had some fun with them. And then, of course, we always go out in the community and show you what great things the Houston Texans are doing out and about. But first, it's the Green Bay Packers. They're coming to NRG Stadium. It's going to be a big matchup. And, of course, we go to none other than our very own John Harris to break it down.
It's time for the Performance Report, brought to you by Hyundai. Week 7 brings the Cheeseheads, the Green Bay Packers, here to NRG Stadium. It's the first time in 8 years since Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have been here in Houston. And I don't even want to go back and relive that 2012 game because that was the night Aaron Rodgers went off against this Texans defense. Now, last week against the Buccaneers, Rodgers did anything but. The Packers got a 10-0 lead on Tampa Bay, and then the Bucs went on a 38-0 run for the rest of the game to give the Packers their first loss of the year. Can it turn into 2? Ooh, it's going to be tough. Offensively, the Packers have gotten Devontae Adams, Pro Bowl receiver, back in the lineup, and they have one of the more underrated running backs in the league in Aaron Jones, who can beat you running the ball and catching it out of the backfield. They also have 2 huge hammers in Jamal Williams and rookie A.J. Dillon that if they want to pound the rock a little bit against a Texas defense that's been suspect against the run, they can do that too. This Packers offense isn't going to be top 5, but they can put some points on the board in a hurry, and guys are stepping up that you've never heard of to make that offense go. You ever heard of Robert Tonyan? Some of you fantasy people might, but he's at tight end, and he's made a huge difference for this team. Defensively, not the greatest unit you're going to find, but they do a few things very well. And with Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Zadarius Smith, they have 3 guys that can go get the quarterback. And that's a worry. But across the board, I don't know that defense is exceptional. Linebackers, they're still looking for the right fit. Secondary, they've got Jair Alexander, Darnell Savage, but across the board, it's not a great secondary. That defense has not been great throughout the year. The Bucs exploited it, and when Rodgers made mistakes, the Bucs defense took advantage. Hence a 38-10 blowout. Can the Texans on both sides of the ball take advantage in the same way? Hopefully that's the case, but it's going to be real tough when Aaron Rodgers gets in this building 8 years after having a career night back in 2012. Let's hope 2020 is much, much different for number 12 and the Green Bay Packers.
No better way to start the show than with a Harris Hurry Up. And then, of course, I always like to sit down with my friends from across the NFL. This week, I sat down with Green Bay Packers team reporter Wes Hodkiewicz. He broke down what the Packers season has looked like so far, even after coming off such a big loss against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This week on Enemy Sidelines, presented by Microsoft Teams, our guest is Wes Hodkiewicz. He covers the Green Bay Packers for the team. Always a pleasure speaking with you, Wes. How's it going up in Green Bay? I know it's not the week that y'all expected coming in undefeated, but first loss of the season. What's the mood like in Green Bay?
Yeah, DP, I think the big thing right now is these guys trying to balance a really strong start. Offensively, we're off to such a huge season. I mean, we're talking historic type proportions, which a lot of teams in the NFL are right now. And then balancing that with the setback against a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where other than that first quarter, nothing really seemed to go right for Green Bay. So the big message that Matt LaFleur has been preaching to the locker room this week is that while it was disappointing and you have to learn from this and you got to figure out what went wrong in those last 3 quarters, you also need to make sure that you do what's right this week to not let it go against you this Sunday against a Houston Texans team. And you know this better than anybody. It's a lot better than what their record says considering the opponents that they face. Green Bay's taking nothing for granted. They know this is going to be a challenge.
Well, it's year 16 for Aaron Rodgers, and he was off to a very hot start. Minus the 2 interceptions in the loss to Tampa Bay, he had 13 touchdowns for the season, 109.7 passer rating, which according to Next Gen Stats powered by AWS is the 5th best in the NFL. So what's year 2 like for him under Matt LaFleur? We were up there in Green Bay for joint practices last year. We're very familiar with Matt LaFleur down here in Houston. He spent some time here with the Texans, but it seemed like it got off to a rocky start, but the two are really meshing together well. So how has that chemistry really developed, and how are the two working together?
Yeah, it's developed in a big way, DP. I mean, this is something where you look at where they were last year when Matt LaFleur was trying to implement his style of offense, his terminology, and meshing it with what Aaron Rodgers did well for so long in Mike McCarthy's system. That took time to really get it sort of streamlined and making sure that the personnel fit the vision of what LaFleur wanted to do. This offseason, they took the virtual offseason program extremely serious. When some teams were trying to figure out, okay, do we even do anything on Zoom? Do we just come back for training camp? LaFleur made it known right away. He wanted to make sure that they did whatever they could to get guys in the classroom, understanding the system and the concepts, and they started off fast in training camp. It was a lot smoother than I expected, and they really shot out of the gate too in that game against Minnesota. So I think you're blending the concepts of what LaFleur does so well, the pre-snap motions, bunch formations, building stuff off the run and setting up big plays downfield with the passing game, with a lot of the things that Rodgers does well in his ability to sort of decipher what's happening at the line of scrimmage and make those kind of adjustments. It's been a really good marriage so far. They've had to go through a lot of different injuries and personnel offensively, but I think because of how good the scheme has really been tailored to what Rodgers wants to do, they've been able to persevere through it up until, of course, that game against Tampa Bay.
All right, well, looking forward to the matchup on Sunday, Wes, as always. Green Bay Packers at the Houston Texans, Sunday noon kickoff right here in Houston. Thanks so much for the time, Wes, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks, DP.
That game will be played at NRG Stadium on Sunday, and if you're in the Houston area and you're thinking, gosh, I wish I could go to the game, it's not too late. You can go to Ticketmaster.com/Texans. We got ticket opportunities so you can catch the action in person. Coming up, we enter the deep slant, next on Texans 360.
Will Fuller has 20 career touchdown catches in his first 48 career games. With his 53-yard scoring grab Sunday in Nashville, he broke DeAndre Hopkins' franchise record of 19 TD receptions in 48 career games. 20. Darren Fells caught his 20th career touchdown catch as well Sunday. The veteran tight end now has 10 scoring catches as a Houston Texan, and along with the Chiefs' Travis Kelce, is the only tight end in the NFL with at least 3 touchdown receptions in each of the last 4 seasons. 20. Number 20, Justin Reed, blocked a field goal attempt last week and now has logged 6 straight games with at least 5 tackles. He's also the 9th player in franchise history to record a tackle in each of his first 37 games. I'm Mark Vandermeer, and this is By the Numbers, presented by FedEx.
Welcome back to Texans 360. I sit down with a player every single week for my weekly Deep Slant feature, and this week I got to know Tyrell Adams. He's number 50. He's also filling in for Bernard McKinney, who went on injured reserve, and Tyrell Adams, making a name for himself, led the team with tackles in his first start a few weeks ago, and the team is liking what they see out of him, but let's get to know number 50 a little bit better. It's the Deep Slant 101 presented by Xfinity. Our guest this week, Tyrell Adams, inside linebacker. You've heard his name a lot in recent weeks. He is now starting for the Texans, number 50. Tyrell, it's been a crazy season, but what have the last few weeks in particular been like for you?
They've been up and down. A lot of emotions into it, but it's been fun, kind of the journey, trying to prove myself to the guys, to the coaches. It's been cool.
All right. Well, a lot of people outside of the organization were surprised at what you were able to do. Your teammates not. They've seen you around the building. They know what you've done at practice. But in your first 2 starts this season, you're already tied for first in the AFC and 4th in the NFL with 20 total tackles. So you kind of came out the gate hot. What sort of set you up for success just sort of stepping in?
I think definitely just the guys around me, those guys in that room. Yeah, Dylan Cole, Zach Cunningham, Bernard McKinney, all those guys. They're just high effort, high energy, the type of guys that's always trying to contribute. So just trying to keep up with those guys kind of influences me and encourages me to kind of be better no matter what I'm doing. When I'm thrown in there, those guys kind of, they give me advice, they just give me support as I go in there. I'm just doing it for those guys that's right up beside me, and those guys just count on me.
Well, you've been on the practice squad for the Texans, and when you look at your bio of the places you've been, it's like a paragraph of all the teams that you have spent time with over the course of your career. You're in year 5. What was sort of the momentum for you? Because I imagine it's got to be tough the first, second, third, but after a number of times, did you ever sort of lose hope, or what kept you going that, you wanted to establish yourself in the NFL?
I think the biggest thing is it definitely can be like emotionally stressing for sure, but just having my family around me, my big brother, he's a big influence in my life. He always kind of reminds me I'm built for this and I just look back on my life, even before NFL, kind of the things I went through in my career in football, in college and in high school. I've always kind of been bouncing back and forth, trying to establish myself and just waving those obstacles. Every time I look back on those things, I kind of remind myself that you can do this, overcome anything that's kind of thrown your way. So I'm blessed to be where I'm at. I wouldn't change the journey for nothing, for sure.
Well, you went to West Georgia and you majored in accounting.
Yep.
Did you ever think, you know what, I might have to, if the football thing doesn't work out, I might have to go back and be an accountant or something?
No.
Did you ever think what was going to happen if football didn't work out for you?
I was in an interview at Northwestern Mutual for a salesman job when I got the call from like an NFL scout about they wanted to come see me work out for a few teams. And literally, as I'm walking out of the interview, I get a call from a random number and they're like, hey, we want you to come perform for these couple of teams. And I'm literally like, oh my God, I might got a chance. So
I love that. So you had a job offer in hand.
Yes.
As a sales rep for Northwestern Mutual.
Yep.
And you get a call on the other hand that NFL teams are calling you to try out.
Exactly.
So how happy would you have been if you never got the NFL call, but you had taken the job? Do you think you would have looked back and thought, I wish it would have gone through? Would you have not looked back? You seem like such a happy-go-lucky guy. I feel like maybe you would have been like...
It's crazy because I love football so much. So literally in that interview, I'm kind of watching, because I'm inside the office, I'm watching all the people around, kind of like what they're doing. I'm seeing all these cubicles. And I'm literally slowly and steadily accepting oh my gosh, it's over with. The fun life is over with. Just going through my head I guess it's all over. And then I get that call.
And that was that was the end of the sales career for now.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe way later in the future. Well, we've definitely taken notice. Tyrell Adams, number 50 out on the field, making a name for himself this year in 2020. Tyrell, best of luck for the rest of the season. And you know what? I'm really glad that you did not take that job at Northwestern Mutual.
Oh, definitely. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Thanks, Tyrell. We show our season ticket members a good time next on Texans 360.
It is so good to see some fans in the building today.
I absolutely felt safe. The staff here with the social distancing guidelines, enforcing mask rules, at no point did I feel unsafe or uncomfortable.
Just the policies and procedures that you guys have set up with lots of hand sanitation stations, as well as making sure that everybody's walking around having a mask. If anybody doesn't have a mask, I've seen about 3 people come up and talk to them to ask them to safely put on their mask.
Oh, you guys have definitely, even with the COVID-19 and all the safety precautions, you've created a great environment. Even with all the safety nuances, it's not that much unlike what your normal game day experience would be.
We're rolling with Texans 360, and we love our Houston Texans fans. I tell you, it is so nice to have them back for these home games. It was so weird, that first game, having an empty stadium. So it is limited capacity. It's not the same as it used to be, but it sure is nice to see those faces sitting in the stands. We love our Houston Texans fans, and our Houston Texans fans, I think, really love Mark Vandermeer, voice of the Texans. He's been having some fun with them, and he's trying out his talents as a game show host. He had some fun this week with some season ticket members. Take a look.
Hello, Texans, and welcome to First and 10, the game show that is getting Super Bowl-like ratings, in my house anyway. Okay, so Jan, you are at your own 45. Jose, you are at the 35-yard line in opposing territory. What is the Texans' best record ever? The best record ever for the Houston Texans. It is not a multiple choice. There are 16 games in a season.
Well, how many we've won the most? 12.
That is correct! Jan! Big play. Boom, right to the 35-yard line. Very good, very good. Okay, Jose, now you're locked up with Jan at the 35 of the opponent. She is caught up. Okay. How many Super Bowls has Romeo Crennel won? I will give you multiple choice. Is it 5, 4, or 6? 5. Whoa.
5. Do you want to know the teams?
Yeah.
2 for the Giants and 3 for the Patriots.
That is correct. And he went to another one with the Patriots. Okay, yes. But that's great. Yeah, the Giants, 2 of them with Phil Simms and Jeff Hostetler and everything. Okay, boom. You go right down to, where are you now? The 15-yard line. Very good. Okay, what do you got, Jose? Big play, first down.
Big play.
How many interim head coaches have there been in the history of the Texans? We have one right now, Romeo Crennel. How many interim head coaches? Jan? Shh. I got a feeling she knows this. It's just a number.
2.
That is correct. Oh my gosh. Jose, that was that was a definition of a big play right there. You're at the 15. Jan, you can punch it in the end zone right here.
Oh, you mean if I go big play?
Yes.
Why not? Let's go for it.
Let's go for it. That's what I always say. The only Thanksgiving game in the history of the franchise was against what team?
Detroit Lions. I was there, baby.
Boom, you're in the end zone. Okay, but here's how we play first and 10. Jose, you have a chance at a Hail Mary right here to tie things up and send it into overtime. Are you ready?
Yes.
Hail Mary, this is your only choice. Of course, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. The ball's going to have to be snapped here. You're running out of time. Deshaun Watson's first victory as a starter was against what team? Name the team. I can't give you multiple choice. I could give you multiple choice. I give you 31 options, and you have to guess which one. That's multiple choice. The first team he ever beat. It's your gut feel.
Colts.
Colts. That is incorrect. I wish it was the Colts because I hate them like poison, but in a healthy sporting context sort of way. And that means, Jan, you are a winner because it's Cincinnati, Jose. Jan, congratulations. And Jan is going to win a Kroger gift card, autographed stuff. We have autographed items from Randall Cobb and Justin Reed. And Jose, you get a parting gift as well. One of those as well. Photos autographed by those guys. Hey, thanks so much for playing. Jan, congratulations. Jose, you're awesome. And we won't tell anybody that you were playing hooky from work. And you too, Jan, because you're a school teacher and I can tell you're in the classroom. And I don't know what the kids are doing right now. Thanks a lot for being a part of it today. Thank you, Tyler, Amanda, Connor, everybody who helped out with the program. And go Texans.
We go out in the community to make an impact. That's coming up on Texans 360.
We're just incredibly thrilled to once again be out here at this year's 10th annual Gridiron Legends Golf Tournament, an opportunity for us to celebrate the Gridiron Legends that have made the game of football in the state of Texas so incredible all these years, and to do it for a great cause in DePelchin Children's Center.
This partnership for DePelchin Children's Center with the Texas Bowl, frankly, it's one of the things we can count on in a world where you can't count on everything these days. The contributions, the donations, and the support from the Texas Bowl go directly to our families and kids. And believe me, they are grateful for every bit of support that they get, and they certainly need it.
Really excited this year to have a sold-out record number of teams at this year's tournament and a record donation we'll be able to provide from the golf tournament to DePelchin, adding to the nearly $2 million we've been able to give through the Texas Bowl to date to DePelchin, who serve such an incredible role in our community, especially now given the circumstances.
It's our final segment of Texans 360, but you know what? It wouldn't be a show unless we showed you some of the great things that we get to do out and about in the community. This week was no different. And even though it's a pandemic, People are still putting on their masks and doing good for others. Take a look at what we're up to this week.
The Houston Texans and Miller Lite joined Campeón de la Comunidad winner Maria Aguirre in supporting the Avenue Resource drive-thru event.
Today is really exciting. We've done a couple of resource events before, but never quite like this. Never with the Texans with us and with this amount of just excitement and pom-poms and signs.
Each month, hundreds of families receive groceries and resources through the event, but this October, the Texans were there to help while bringing Texans spirit.
Families are going to get groceries, and I mean a serious amount of groceries first. Then they're going to get a lot of good Texans goodies, and then they're going to be getting resources from a lot of our partners. So Metro has free Metro passes, and that's so that anybody can go out and vote. We have our council member who's going to be giving them voting signs. We've got DePelton with his resources. We've got a lot of great partners just giving out what they have.
That's really the whole focus of the Campeón de la Comunidad programs, is to honor leaders in the Latino community. And what's most important is that all those nominations come from the community. It's the community saying these are the leaders we believe should be honored. And that's what part of this celebration here today is.
You do this work because you love people, not because you are looking for any recognition, and getting it just kind of like, oh, makes your heart very happy. So yeah, I was just really surprised and proud and just really grateful.
The Houston Texans are proud to support organizations that work to improve Houston communities.
That's going to do it for this week's Texans 360. And don't miss next week. Even though the Texans are on a bye, Texans 360 never takes a bye. We're on all year long, so don't miss that. I want to give a special thanks to everyone that worked on this show, Tyler Suddarth, Tyler Marcotte. For all of you out there watching, stay safe, wear your masks, and as always, go Texans.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.